Yo, what's up guys? It's Alex here from Elite Football Conditioning. Now in this video, I want to talk to you about the 5 main methods for maximizing your speed on the football pitch. Number 1, we're looking at resisted sprints. So love using these. You can do it as hill runs, you can utilize a sled, you can push it, pull it, drag it forwards, backwards. And if you want the added bonus of a little bit of agility work, you can drag it sideways, so you've got a lateral sled pull as well. Basically, any sprint where you are working against resistance, whether that's with a weighted vest or even just someone holding a band and trying to pull you back a little bit, adding that little bit of tension, giving you that bit of fight to have to drive forwards and add that horsepower. That's what we're looking at. So one of the great things that you can do, especially if you're using sleds, is you can play around with the weight, you can play around with the speeds that you're working at and the tension that you're having to put through and the force you're having to put through into the floor. You can work either with faster turnover of speed, different angles of acceleration, or you can go slow, heavy, and maximize those strength gains. Number 2, overspeed training, running faster than you are actually capable of. How do you do that? Well, you can either, very simply, run downhill, or you can run with the assistance, maybe a little bit harder, run with the assistance of a bungee cord or elastic cord if you've got someone helping to pull you in the forwards direction rather than resisting against you like number 1. Now, benefits of this, helps that frequency of stride, that turnover of foot. Ultimately, we're trying to get that faster. Now, mainly if you're running downhill, you want to make sure you're not running on too much of a gradient where you're essentially having to hit the brakes and you're just training at slowing down and getting slower, training your deceleration mechanics. We need to be running on a relatively low gradient where we're only pushing a little bit beyond our normal top speed. Even if we're just working shorter distances, that form still needs to be perfect to carry over into our sprinting. Then we can utilize it on the pitch. Number 3, we're looking at reactive training. So you see me do loads of these where you're sticking cones down on the floor, just simple reaction, change of direction drills where you're working off a planned change of direction. So you're pushing out to a cone and you're basically training the mechanics of slowing down and changing direction, accelerating as fast as you can the other way. We're breaking down the movement patterns to get efficient at those. Once we do that, it becomes subconscious, it's wired into our system, and it happens naturally on the pitch. That's what we need to do. So we need to train those different patterns. We need to move in different ways that allows us to be fast on the field. That's what we're going for. Number 4, this is the super sexy stuff that gets all the credit. Plyometric training. Really, really fast ground contact times. Ultimately, sprinting is a plyometric drill, but maximal effort jumps, rapid reactive ground contact, that is true plyometric work. So you can, I might have bashed these before on ladders, but you can use ladders for them. You get really fast foot contacts and just popping off the floor, nice and quick. You can make those into a plyometric activity. Ultimately, it's all about speed off the ground. The faster you can get off the ground, the better. So some of my favorite examples of plyometric work, you'd probably be able to find them on my Instagram, on my stories where I've saved them at the top, where you can see there'll be stuff like pogos, there'll be bounding, there'll be sprinting, there'll be different types of bounding, there'll be single leg bounding, alternating, you name them, they're up there. There's loads of, the world is your oyster when it comes to plyometrics, but make them fast, make them snappy. They need to be bouncy. We are training the elastic qualities of the body, especially the calf and ankle, to be able to react, absorb the force, get off the ground quickly, and propel us forwards. That's what we want. And there's one more. Number 5, eccentric training. Do not neglect simply being strong and being able to absorb force, being able to increase the strength and the stiffness of tendons to be able to withstand the impact and the repeated demands of training. Utilize these. Perfect, like they very much come into their own when it comes to specific work on the hamstrings. RDLs are a prime example. Deadlifts, as long as you don't just stand them up and let go of the bar, you're getting them in on there. And then there's loads of little drills that you can do to include eccentric training as a core part of your training program. So those are the 5 key methods to your speed work. You've got your resisted sprinting, overspeed training, reactive training where you're hitting those reaction drills, plyometrics, and eccentric loading in your strength work. If you've got any questions or you want to know how to utilize those, again, you can take advantage of me being a proper shit personal trainer and being a really bad online coach by prescribing personalized, individual, one-on-one programming that actually caters to you as an athlete, because your set of circumstances, your needs on the pitch, your physical experience that's got you to where you are now is completely different to anybody else out there. So why would you want to be doing the same program as anybody else? If you can come up with a good answer to that, then feel free to carry on. See you later. Lenko out.